So I have my blender, my spinach, black pepper, sea salt, some African spices kind of mixed together, different things inside of there. I have the sardines that come in the tomato sauce today. I have some rosemary leaves, some cloves, tomatoes, onions, palm oil. I already have a little bit of ground agusi that I bought from the African market. And then I have, of course, my bag. So I'm gonna be, because this is not enough for my family, I'm gonna have to blend up some in my blender to grind it down. So we're just taking out the seeds of the tomatoes. This is kind of one of those stories I got to go back and ask somebody why we don't use the seeds of the tomato when we make agusi. I don't have on my gloves, but yeah, usually you can do it with a spoon, but these are small. All right, so you got your tomatoes deseeded. All you're gonna do is just dice them up, right? I cut mine like this. I know people turn it over and do it, but for a tomato, I like to do it a little differently. And you just go back and cut, and then chop. And that's it. Okay, I'll be back when I'm done cutting. You can stop it, babe. Okay. Hello? Pause that for a second for me.
Start. Okay.
So everybody, I'm doing the onions right now. I'm peeling the onions. I'm gonna do 2 onions. I took what you see right there is water with pulp in it, the pulp from the tomatoes. And I asked my husband why can't we just chop it up and use it? He says he's not sure. So that's one of those why you cut the butt of the ham off questions.
Said what I told you.
And he says, and people
believe.
I was getting to that, hon. And people believe that that the seeds are to be grown and or that they also might affect your intestinal system as sitting in your intestinal system. So this is how I cut my onions. Again, it's no specific way, but onions and tomatoes are very much a part of African cuisine, just like rice is, and yams. So when you think about it, you just have to know that's what you're gonna be cooking a lot of. So that's something you should have in your kitchen. Something you should have in your kitchen. I'm not doing a good job today. All right, I'll see y'all in a little bit. So I took some agusi and I'm just gonna add some water to it and let it soak for a little bit because I had dried agusi. So it's gonna soak. So the man is helping me out today. And we'll be back to show you how we're gonna grind it down like the other agusi. All right, so I have soaked the agusi. My husband took time out to take out the parts that looked a little black or over dried out. And I just put a little bit of water on there, not a whole lot. But if you may have to add a little water when you're blending. But that's it. So, where's my lid?
Maria, a little bit of water.
And then I did tell him about the water, baby. I did tell him to put a little water in there. Put a little bit of water. I'm gonna see how it go before I'm gonna see how it go. Did I unplug it? I'm gonna see how it go. And then if it's too dry, like if it's too dry like it is now, I'm gonna get some water and just add it to it. Okay. You don't take a whole lot. Just enough so that it'll be smooth enough for the blender. All right, and then we're just gonna blend it up. I'm using a milk-cake first. Now, because I'm mixing it with the one that I already have done, this is what it looks like. You see it? I'm just gonna add it to it. it blend up a little better. And then once it's all blended, thank you. I'll be back in a minute. So this is what it looks like. This is what the agusi looks like once you've blended it. As I said, it's just basically the agusi seeds that have been ground inside the blender. And if you wanted to, you could have put a little bit of cloves. You can grind to, like have powdered cloves or ground cloves to go in here as well. All right, and y'all know what cloves are, right? To a skillet, you want to probably put it like on medium-high heat. And we're just going to add just enough to coat the bottom because you're going to cook your vegetables, your tomatoes, and your, this is palm oil, by the way. Your tomatoes and your onions. You can even sweat your spinach, actually. You know, just going to put a little bit. Okay, I'm going to stop right there. See my palm oil. And like I said, I have it on a medium heat. And I'm just letting it cover the bottom of the skillet. I'll be right back. I'm adding the tomatoes. Again, it's not like you got to put in the onions first or the tomatoes first. If you've seen what I added, we added a little bit of moi moi. It's a type of salted fish, dried salted fish. It's gonna add just a little bit more of a pungent flavor to it. You can, if you once you smell it, y'all done smell it. We've all been in the African market, and we can smell that dry fish. So, especially if you were in Ghana, where my husband is from. Okay, so I'm just gonna let that stir it up a little bit, let it go through the oil, and just kind of brown. We want to get it translucent. And then once it gets going, I'm still gonna add some green peppers to it. I'm gonna add some green peppers, and I'm gonna add the moi moi. So I'll be back. So I'm just slicing the green peppers. I don't chop them. I just slice them really thin because I want the flavor, but I also want to see the color in the agusi. If you've ever had agusi, it looks kind of orangish or like yellow. So I like to see the spinach and the green peppers. So I just slice them thin like this. Just thin, all right? And then I just drop them. And I forgot to tell y'all also, cover it up. Cover it, you know, so it can really get that flavor and take the time to cook. So I'll be back in a second. Okay, one last thing. I got the moi moi. All I did was chop it up, right? Just chopped it up a little bit into smaller pieces, and I'm just gonna pull it into pieces. This is my family food, so I can touch it with my hands, and my hands are clean. Okay. And then I'm just gonna stir it up, and then I'm gonna cover it back up. Maybe like, I don't know, maybe like 5 or 6 minutes. Sometimes, you know, a little bit long. I just want everything to be soft and smooth when I put it in. Like I just added the bell peppers and the moi moi. That doesn't look good. Don't that look good and colorful? This is one of the beauties too about us cooking, you know, traditional foods. Like that's one thing about our people. They know how to put some color and have some flavor together. So we'll talk more about that. Now everything has been cooking and smothering inside the pot. Inside the palm oil. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to scoop out the agusi. But here's my hint to y'all. And my husband told me this, and he just reminded me. He said, don't forget not to put the agusi in one spot. Kind of spread it out, right, so it can cook. Because if you have uncooked agusi, it will give you the runs. A lot of people talked about when they went to Ghana, how when they first ate agusi or okra stew, they had the runs. Thank you. They had the runs, and that's part of the reason. You got to make sure it's cooked all the way through. And so, like I said, I just kind of spread it around like I'm icing a cake for me. I just spread it out because I want it to cook all the way through. Agusi traditionally, well, for me, the first time I heard of agusi, it was from a Nigerian family. Moses Bruce had a restaurant called the African Hut. I always say African Kitchen, but it's called the African Hut. And he used to cook agusi. He used to make the black eyed pea balls, spice balls. I don't know what y'all call them. but I'm just trying to give y'all some idea. So anyway, so once that in there, spread it out so it can be evenly cooked. That's how I do it at least. So y'all might have some more helpful hints. Like last time I cooked my palm nut stew, y'all said that y'all like to strain your canned palm nut. So maybe you got an idea for me. All right, I'm gonna cover it back up and let it go. I'll see y'all soon. So I'm added the spices that you saw. I think I did a picture instead of a thing, but then I'm also adding this last thing last. All right, so this is the agusi. It's quite a bit, so I'm gonna let it cook a little longer, and I'm just gonna stir this in here. It's hard to watch. And then I'm gonna add the spinach. All I did, and no, I didn't forget the spinach, honey. I'm doing. So I'm just stirring it, folding it in. I call it folding. People say stirring, but I'm folding it into it. Let me get my spinach. Y'all see all my bananas, and I'm just laying the spinach on top. And y'all see my rice cooker is ready and waiting for me to cook the, for me to do it. So I'm just gonna leave this right on top, just like it is. Spread it out. So the natural steam of the food can, so that's it. Then when I come back and stir, I'm just gonna add like some a little bit of salt on top. I did the black pepper, I did a few more cloves. I also put the African seasons, which has like cloves, nutmeg, other little spices up in there. I can't remember. Yeah, all African, what they call African spices. They've been putting it as African, right? So all right, so I'll talk to y'all later.